And welcome to the Other 50%, a feminist issues show here on KYRS. As always, we started the show off with Janis Joplin singing Women is Losers. I'm Megan.
I'm Ian.
And we are joined in the studio today by Cyndi and Seven. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show. We're excited to have you here. So we are planning to spend the next hour talking about gender and talking about feminism like we always do.
Because it's awesome.
So did you were the founders of Spokane Trans People? Is that... No.
Actually.
Okay, then I'm a big liar starting off the show. So tell us a little bit about Spokane Trans People and your involvement, and we'll go into talking about why we've asked you here today and gender and all that fun stuff.
Okay, so Spokane Trans People was started by Thatcher Linda. Thatcher Linda. And we met for a while, I think it was every other week at Westminster Church, and that kind of ran out of steam a little bit. And so the LGBT Center, as they were picking up some steam and wanting to offer more different organizations, classes, workshops, and support groups, they decided to offer the transgender support group. And so that was originally led by a man named Dustin. And we thank him greatly for getting everything started, but his life kind of took some different turns that he needed to go and attend to. So the group voted in a facilitator / communications coordinator, and that was me. So they voted me in, me being Seven, and that was about almost a year ago. And so every 6 months we vote again, and so coming up here in June we'll be voting, and if somebody else would like to take over as facilitator and communications coordinator, they could certainly do that, but I'd be happy to continue to do what I'm doing. So as part of our support group, we started a speakers bureau to talk to people about gender, about transgender issues, and just educate, just in general. So we came and spoke to Odyssey Youth Center and met Ian and Megan, and that's how we ended up here on the radio.
Wonderful. So when you say transgender issues, for people who maybe don't know what that means, can you expand on that a little bit? What is it? What does transgender mean?
That is an awesome place to start. Transgender means essentially any person who does not feel comfortable in their skin, doesn't feel that the sex that they were born into, the body that they were born into, matches who they feel that they are on the inside. Transgender people range from anyone who was born male or who was born female and wants to transition, take steps socially and or medically to go from either female to male, male to female, or either birth sex into something kind of in the middle, depending on how they feel that they identify on the inside.
So I, with my fancy little technology here, have this graphic that actually you introduced me to, and I realized earlier today, as I was pulling it up, it's actually on your Tumblr.
It's not on my Tumblr because I don't have a Tumblr.
Okay, then the creepy social media-ness had your photo pop up. Anyway, you probably posted it on Facebook or something. But anyway, of this transgender umbrella, which I think is a terrific graphic, and unfortunately we're on the radio and you can't see it. But part of what I found interesting is that, which also you talked about that time you came to Odyssey, is you don't necessarily have to fit under this umbrella to be transgender, or like people who identify some of these terms who are hanging under the umbrella may not want to be under there. And then also that it even includes just masculine women or feminine men as well. It's not necessarily, I guess, people always think, well, I guess for my personal experiences. People always think of transgender as someone who wants to transition.
And someone who goes from one end of the gender binary to the other end of the gender binary.
The polarization.
Well, even in the case where you have your masculine female or your feminine male, where they are not transgender at all, due to their mannerisms and their way of dealing with the world, they're going to face a lot of similar issues that a transgender individual will, because they're crossing the gender binary code that we have, that we all have ingrained in us. You know, boys do this, girls do this, and if you cross that line in any way, people face sanctions socially.
So, Ian, can you describe a little bit what the umbrella looks like? So it's an umbrella,
Yes.
and it says transgender, and underneath it there's
little, it's kind of like a little mobile, little dangly bits coming down off of it. And it's got different names on it. So, like I said, masculine women, feminine men. There's drag, both king and queens, cross-dressers, transsexuals, and hanging off the transsexuals, male to female and female to male. There's different terms for transgender and from different cultures, such as two-spirit, and I'm not going to pronounce this right. Hijra, thank you. As well as genderqueer, agendered, and different things. And then also on top, which we talked about, people think about this differently. There's little raindrops on top of the umbrella. One of which is cisgendered.
Cisgendered it's spelled CIS, and so it essentially, just in its basis terms, stands for comfortable in skin. And so that is a term that we like to use that is a way to identify somebody who's not transgender, but we don't want to put that negative in front of their gender identity, because their gender identity is equal. All gender identities should be, and that's what we strive for anyway. So to say that somebody is comfortable in their skin, we're kind of trying to continue to put a positive spin rather than saying, I'm not transgender. That's telling me what you aren't. Why don't you instead tell me what you are? And so that's a nice term that I really personally dig.
Can we talk a little bit about pronouns?
Absolutely.
So,
Your favorite topic, then?
I was hoping you'd say absolutely. So I use feminine pronouns, she, her, hers.
I use masculine pronouns or male pronouns.
So is everybody else?
I use feminine pronouns.
So this is Cyndi talking. That's Cyndi.
Yes.
And Cyndi uses feminine pronouns.
However, 7.
And me, 7, I use gender-neutral pronouns, or at least I prefer to. They're not widely known and or accepted, so it's kind of difficult to get those out there. But gender-neutral pronouns, there are numerous sets, but kind of the most, I guess, well-known is Z, spelled Z-E, which goes in place of she or he, and here, which is spelled H-I-R, and that is in place of him, her, those things like that. There are a lot of other gendered words that we use in communicating that a lot of people don't think about, and so we don't currently have a lot of replacements for things like sister, brother, mom and dad, girlfriend, boyfriend, all of these things where we're telling the world the gender of the person that we're talking about, and there's not a lot of replacement words for those. So gender-neutral pronouns goes a little bit further than nothing at all. But Cyndi and I have kind of found ourselves just making up words because there isn't words in our language currently for husband or wife, for example. Partner, definitely. Is a nice replacement.
So cold, though, just partner.
It does. Partner in what? Partner in crime? Partner in
business?
In a law firm?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We're much more than partners.
Yeah, and so in our language, we're gendered. We speak in a gendered way, and I want that same respect. And so, like, we found